What's up, fellas? Alright, so I'm not exactly doing a holiday special right now. I'm going to do some things differently tomorrow night, and then I'm going to do definitely some things different the next night. Uh, uh, Tomorrow night I'll probably just do uh, holy shit, the world's coming to an end video. That's what I figure I'll do anyway. And then I think I'll do um, another video later on talking about. I think I'll do another video later on. Uh, well, Christmas. I'll just do an all around just nice Christmas video. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't quite put out a good mindset for that yet. Not yet. But I basically have me. I like to basically make pretty good videos around the holidays and Christmas Day. Christmas Day, I'll go ahead and make a nice video for Christmas Day and tell everybody Merry Christmas. Um, if you watch my videos and you haven't subscribed, then I suggest you subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. You can go about your life and we'll be friends. Um, but as of tonight I'm talking about. Uh, I should not even have to. I should not even really have to even rehash this subject, this stupid subject, uh, about 22 Magnum. It's one I shouldn't even have to even bring up, but yet I'm having to bring it up. If you get my drift. And also Christmas Day, that'd be a nice day. I kind of have an announcement to make Christmas Day, but you'll have to wait. Tonight I'm not going to do that. Tonight it's not a proper time on this video. But yeah. So real quick, let's talk about the 22 Magnum. And basically the reason why I choose personally the 22 Magnum, trying to get in more little in-depth detail about the 22 Magnum and why that it is the best caliber, in my opinion, anyway. Well, I'm gonna say it's the best caliber, in my opinion, to bug out with. Okay, to walk out and go with, as far as hunting and just trapping and doing stuff in the woods. I think the 22 Magnum, in my opinion, is the best caliber, and I'm gonna explain to you here in a minute why. Now, in a situation to where the 20 in a situation where uh, it's a home defense, the world's come to an end, the zombie apocalypse. Well, there's other kind of guns better, kind of better suited for that. I'm a little bit more of an AK guy. I follow more along the AK friend category. Now I got a friend who's into, let's say, M1 Garands and stuff like M1 carbines, like the old M1As, which would be a 308. He's a little more into that. Then I got another friend that's got a AR-10, which is basically an AR-15 that is souped up on steroids, and it shoots 308 or 7.51 by crap. Anyway, it shoots it shoots NATO bullets, so 7.51. My mind's not clicking into it right now, but yeah, it shoots NATO bullets, and the 7.51 anyway, NATO bullets. And it's basically a dumbed down version of a 308. So just call it 308. 7.51. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's a dumbed down version of a 308. Anyway, so basically he's got that, and then there's some people that would prefer to have that little bit bigger caliber. For their home for other purposes. Me, I feel like an AK-47 and even a AR-15 is perfectly good enough for generally the situation you'll find yourself in as far as human contact. But then again, it may not be. It just depends on the situation that you find yourself in. I mean, the 308 and extra power that you get from 306, from having an M1 Garand and stuff like that would be, definitely more better. And then on top of that, you've also got to remember some of the AR-15 platforms come in stuff like 350 Legend, 400 Legend. They come in, let's see, I think you can actually buy some of them in 306, and I know you can buy the AR-10 in 306, and then you got the 450 Bushmaster. And those are really powerful rounds. Within 100 yards, those are some very powerful rounds. They're not a round that you want to be messing with. I mean, within 100 yards, those are going to do some damage. Those are deer rounds. They actually are deer cartridges, and they are actually way more powerful than a 5.56. But the advantage of the 5.56 is it comes up with the green tip. But the point of this video isn't none of that stuff. I've already wasted 6 minutes talking about the different stuff to do with that stuff. But let's just get into the guns, and let's get into why that, in my opinion, the 22 Magnum is the best caliber. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 22 Magnum I got. It's just a bolt action. It's a lake. It's a lake. Crap! It always says I always have to look on the barrel here. Where's she at? Where's she at? It's made by imported by Lakefield. I keep wanting to say Lakeview, but it's actually Lakefield. I thought it was Lakefield. But anyway, it's a pretty gun, beautiful gun, nice, beautiful gun. She's a beauty, and it's a bolt action thing. I can always just do this, pull it back, pull it forward, and then I can pull that trigger like that. As I let it down, it won't actually hurt my firing pin in there. Very good gun, wood stock, beautiful gun. I love it to death. It's very nice. And the point of this is that if I was going to go out in the woods, I would take this. And because I think a lot of people underestimate the power, the seriousness, and the serious kind of like horsepower that the feet per second that a 22 mag has. It's got a lot more power than I think a lot of people give it credit for. And it's definitely a lot more powerful than a 22 LR. So let me show you the difference between the bullets. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the AR-15 platform and how that might be the better bet for you personally. Okay, but now let me also say this. I also would like to pair the 22 Magnum, because it can be used for taking smaller game like squirrels, rabbits, and even frogs and stuff like that. It can be used for smaller game, and pair that up with a decent caliber that is good for self-defense and also hunting bigger game, deer, bear, stuff like that. The 357 Magnum. Now you could go ahead, and if you wanted to, you could go ahead and get 44 Magnum if you want to, and 44 Magnum, or you can use the 10 millimeter. You can get a good 10 millimeter, and it depends. They actually make 10 millimeter revolvers too. It depends on what you want to get. Now you can go ahead and get a 10 millimeter. You can get probably in a 45 ACP if you wanted to. But me personally, I like the 357. It's got a lot of power. It's more powerful than the standard. It's more powerful than the standard. Basically 38s and all this, 9 millimeter and stuff like that. And these have killed many deer, and they've killed bear and stuff like that. These are really powerful guns. They're actually really good guns. 357 is no joke. Some people in Alaska actually even carry this gun. But if you want to go with 44, or if you want to go with 10 millimeter, that's up to you. If you want to go with 45, I'd say that caliber would probably do okay. 45 ACP would be the most minimum I'd go. But you want something with enough power and some book in it to get it done too, as a sidearm. So comparing that up, like this is your deer, right? This is your deer gun, and then this is your squirrel gun, basically. So it has to be paired up with the two. And I know that the bullets for these aren't cheap. I know that they're not. It's a little more expensive for 357. But if you want to go ahead and pair that up with, let's say, 10 millimeter, then you go ahead and knock yourself out. If you've got a lot of 10 millimeters with reloads, that's up to you. That's perfectly fine. Um, but like I said, the 357, I just like it. I think it's and then on top of that, this is a really high quality gun too. This is the Ruger new model, not the old regular Black Hawk. This is the new model Black Hawk, and right now, this gun would probably run you about $800 to $900. So it's a really expensive gun. It's really high quality. It's well built, and this new model Black Hawk, it really isn't a joke. I mean, if you can, they got the other original Black Hawk. This is the new model Black Hawk, and she's pretty too. She's a beaut, and so it's a well built, high quality gun. Only downfall to it is, as far as like it being good for you having as a self defense gun, it's a single action only. It's got the actual loading gate, and she's loaded, so let's not go and point her at my head or anything. But yeah, and I actually want to take one of the bullets out of this guy a little bit later. But yeah, that's a very good gun. All right, so let me talk real quickly about the individual caliber that's in this. Then I'm going to move on to the 5.56 and talk about the 5.56 and the stuff like that in a minute. But let's talk about this guy real quick, the 22 mag. And then I don't know if you've ever seen the 22 357 Magnum bullet, but I'll go ahead and pull it out and I'll show you. But anyway, this is a 22 Magnum. This is one of those vermin rounds. And what does it say we're shooting at? We're shooting at 1910 feet per second out of this round. Now this guy here, he puts his at, this is a standard 22 LR. This is 1200 feet per second. This has 700 feet per second more foot-pounds of energy than these do. Now let me show you something about these guys. Alright, one of my right hand here, this is my right hand. I guess for you guys, you might be looking at it from the left, I don't know. But anyway, this is my right hand. And if we compare the two, I've done this comparison before. I shouldn't even have to rehash this old video. But can you clearly see the difference? This is a 22 mag, and this is 22 LR. That tiny, that little bit more tiny bullet right there. Let's try not to push no buttons so we don't cut off our video. But that little bit tiny more thing, you can actually see how much more tiny that bullet is than that bigger bullet. All right, that bullet is that much bigger. I mean, that's quite a bit difference right there. That compared to this, that's how much more powder. It's basically the same bullet, except it's got. That's basically the same bullet, except it's got much more powder charge in it. So basically, that's the reason why they call it a Magnum. So basically, it's got the same bullet on top, and on top of this is a vermin round. It's a hollow point vermin round. So it's got that much more power. It's got that much more speed, and that's exactly the point of the bullet, is to have that much more speed and that much more power. So, and a lot of people talk about subsonic. They're not subsonic. I hear subsonic stuff all the time about 22 Magnum. Well, really, when it comes down to it, you can buy subsonic stuff for the 22 LR, but the point of the 22 Magnum is to take the same bullet, the same cartridge, the same cartridge basically, and make that cartridge go faster by adding more gunpowder to it. Okay, so this is just a box of El Cheapos of Federal stuff I got right here. But yeah, so you kind of are missing the point of getting the 22 Magnum, and with the right shot placement, these things can eat. 22 Magnums can kill coyotes. They can kill, bigger game, possums and raccoons. They can kill many different kinds of things. They can even kill deer with the right kind of shot placement, right in the head and stuff like that. So basically, this bullet is a lot more powerful. It's a lot more than what you think it is. It's a whole lot more of a hitter than I think a lot of people would probably think. This bullet isn't no joke as compared to the other one. Now I actually seen a guy one time do a comparison of this to a 9mm, and he had a revolver, and he had a 9mm, and they shot him in the ballistic steel, and this guy actually was pretty intense, amazingly, for just a little 22. And not all 22s are created equal. I mean, you got like the 22 TCM, which is a 9mm casing that's necked down into a 22 LR. It's a 9mm casing that's necked down into a 22 LR, and you basically take a 22 LR bullet, you put it behind 9mm worth of powder, and it basically makes one powerful friggin' little 22. But anyway, that's the difference. And the bullet, and really, it comes down to it. You can just do a whole lot, a whole lot with 22 mag. They are a lot more powerful. They can kill a lot more bigger stuff than what you think. They can kill coyotes. They can kill even deer. With the right shot placement, you can, if you shoot them things right, you can really do some tricks with these things. 22 mags are really no joke. A lot of people just don't see the added advantage of buying a 22 mag over buying a 22 LR. And in some ways, I guess I kind of can see that. I really had never planned on buying a 22 mag until I was down at the gun show one day, and that 22 mag was just on sale down there. A guy had it, and it had a little scuff on it, little thing on it that was just imperfection. And he said, "Well, I let it go for 100." He said, "I let it go for $180." And it wasn't going to be that cheap, but it was $180. And I said, "Okay." So I just gave him the money, and I bought it. Walked out the door with it that day. So that 22 mag was pretty good price and everything. You can buy 22 mags about $300. You can probably buy them less, maybe $250, $300. It just depends on what you get. But like some people have pointed out, which that's something I've also heard a lot about, is how much more expensive the bullets are, because this is like $20, $15, $20 a box for a box of 50. This is 800 rounds for a box. That's 800 rounds, and it's like $65 a box. But the point of the reason why I also like the 22 mag is I can put so much ammo into a backpack. And, you're talking about a lot of ammo that I can stuff in a backpack. And I'm going to compare that to a box I got right here. And I can stuff that so much of that ammo into a backpack, and it will just can carry with me. So the point of the matter is, it's like I can carry all this ammo with me. And actually, I do have the 22 Magnum stuff in my bug out bag, and I plan on grabbing that rifle right there and that 357 Magnum for a bug out. But let me show you something else now. Let me show you that AR-15. I'm going to compare that up with the Glock. Now, the AR-15. All right. Now, here's what somebody pointed out, which I actually got to give the guy credit. It was a good idea, but he turned out to be a kind of a jerk too, though, because really his only way of thinking was by his own way of thinking, and he tried to tell me how to run my channel. And I kind of went along with him. I was like, "Man, you got some pretty good ideas." And so I was like entertaining all these ideas, real good. I mean, I thought it was real good ideas. And then this guy sort of turned out to be kind of a jerk, and it's pretty much he basically called me a blubbering idiot, stuff like that. So I just basically said, "All right, I'm blocking you. You're done. You're off my channel." And I sent him on his way. I made it so he couldn't comment on my channel no more, because he's just being a jerk, But he did make one good point. He said this. He said that you can actually take and you can have the 5.56 NATO on here 1 minute, and then if you ever want to go hunting with something else, you can take that off, and you can put a 22 Magnum and 22 LR upper on there, and then just change out that magazine. You have to change a couple of things, but you can just go ahead and change out the magazine, just change that upper, and then there you go, you're back over 22 LR. That's a very good point. That is a very good point, yes. And you can go ahead and make it into a deer hunting round, or you can change that over and you can turn it into something else. Now you can also change this over from 5.56 if you don't want it to be 5.56 to being something like 350 Legend or something like that. But there's one good advantage to the 5.56. The 5.56 and the 9mm to team up I'm going to talk about. But this right here, like I said, is more for better for security than it would be actually for the purposes of being survivalism. But there's also a big argument on the survivalism part that will there actually be enough game and animals and stuff like that to hunt? And that's a good point. How much will there be? And that is a very good point. So, like I said, but the upper, like I said, I just prefer my 22 LR. I prefer my 22R with the iron sights, but yeah, and I like a standard butt stock, no adjustable junk. But everybody's different. But the truth of the matter is, it's a very good point. And then this guy also, he made another valid point that, and I've heard other preppers say it too, and they were telling the truth. They said that when it comes down to it, you're going to have all these people with all this ammo. And well, even though I love my AK-47 ammo, and I might be able to find a nice little chunk of ammo for AK-47, some not so great as I would for the AR-15. But I might be able to find a nice little chunk for it in case I ever start running out of ammo or something ever happened where the ammo stash got messed up and I had to go hit the road or something like that. Well, then in that case, the 5.56 would be a better deal. Now, I'm going to show you the bullets for that and then the 9mm. And then also kind of would recommend basically buying a good 9mm. Now, if you got a 10mm, that's okay. If you got a 45 and you've already got a bunch of ammo for 45, stick with what you got. I'm just basically saying buy 9, and well, you can actually probably find bullets pretty good for the 45. 10mm, maybe not. Depends on what you got. But anyway, I recommend basically buy a 9mm. This is a Glock. Oh, good old Glock. Yeah, but I recommend you buy the 10mm. I buy a 9mm. And it's not that I think 9mm is such a heart stopper. It's just more or less that the ammo can be found so much easier. Another good thing about a Glock is, like this is a Glock 45 with a 17 round magazine. It's got 3 of them in here. But you can also buy, and I can't put this in on camera because it's Google, but you can also buy these oversized magazines, and that's 33 round magazines for these. So that's an advantage. You got 33 round magazine for these things, if you get my drift. So basically, you can kind of these things are really good. And plus, on top of that, let's say if you bought a Glock, you would have if you bought a Glock, you'd pretty much have a good gun for the rest of your life, an end of the world gun, so to speak. And if you bought that 9mm, that gun would be excellent for your purposes of whatever you want it to do. It would be excellent for the purposes of what you want it to do, whatever that may be. But yeah, it'd be good for a side carry gun. It'd be a good side carry gun. It'd be a good gun for you to have as a side carry. It's safe, good for your own safety and everything. So self-protection and stuff like that. It's semi-automatic though, compared to the revolver, which a revolver would be more ideal because it has a little bit more reliability compared to a semi-automatic, which can get dirt, sand, and then on top of that, if it gets roughed up, it might not shoot. But a revolver, just by the design of a revolver, it's going to be better because the cylinder's rotating, and it's generally not going to get jammed up. Unless you have a barrel obstruction or something, you're pretty much good to go with a revolver compared to that. Now let me show you real quickly something here. And now I'm going to talk about the bullets. Now I'm going to try to end this show so we don't make it too long. But I shouldn't even have to be talking about this thing yet. But this is basically, I just bought these El Cheapos a long time back, and I just keep bringing them out for show. But this is a 223 Remington steel case. All right. So there's advantage to these. This is actually a pretty good little round, but it's still a 22, despite the fact a lot of people think it's actually 22. The largest 22 is actually the 22-250 that I'm aware of. Now, if I'm wrong, it's all right if you correct me. I really don't care if you do. Just let me know if I'm wrong. But I think the 22-250 is the most powerful 22 to date. Now the next one I think down below that one is the 5.56. I think it's the one down below that one, and then it goes down to 223 Remington. Then it goes down to 22 Hornet, and then well, maybe it's 22 TCM. Then it's 22 Hornet, somewhere around those ranges. I'm not going to rack my mind thinking about it too much. But anyway, this is 9mm. This is a 9mm, and I haven't actually opened this go, have I? Well, yeah, I have. All right. Okay. Oh man, don't do that to me. That's the reason why I don't like doing this. Now I've got to put all them back. Anyway, this is a 9mm, and this entire box here has 250 rounds in it. This entire box has 250 rounds in it, and let me go ahead and put these back real quick while I can, and now I'm going to shut this lid. But yeah, that's a 9mm round. Can you see how much bigger that 9mm round is compared to a 22? And the bullets are definitely way more heavier than the 22 Magnum. And that's one of the reasons why I basically kind of also picked the 22 Magnum. Also, I mean, the bullets are definitely bigger. These things are definitely heavier. They definitely got a lot more kick to them. These things are definitely a lot more heavier. They have some pretty impressive. These things have actually some pretty impressive stuff being shot out of a rifle. They're actually pretty impressive. A lot more impressive than you think. Yeah, so they're actually pretty impressive. They're actually pretty impressive with, you know, that bullet's actually pretty impressive. A lot more impressive than a lot of people give 9mm credit for, but it's not nearly as impressive as it depends on which 9mm ammo you get. Some of the 9mm ammos have come a long way, and they got a lot more high velocity crap. But I mean, really, as far as just basically domestic disputes and stuff like that, I mean, 9mm ought to get you by. But really, as far as in the world, going out, living in the woods, bushcraft stuff, I mean, I'm just gonna still have to stick by my guns and say I'm gonna take my 22 Magnum along with my 357, along with the 357. 357 is just a baby doll. It is a powerful gun. It's a lot more powerful than a lot of people give it credit for. Now let me drop one of the rounds out of here real quick. Should be able to drop that out without a problem. Don't know why it's not just dropping out. There we go. There we go. Yeah. But anyway, that is the 357 round. That is a 158 grain bullet. It's moving about, like, I think, if I remember straight, those move at 20. I want to say they're moving at like 1,700 feet per second, but that's actually a lot of foot-pounds energy out of a 138 grain bullet, out of a 158 grain bullet. So they're really powerful. They're very powerful bullets. The guns. I mean, you ever compare these to, let's say, 10mm, and they always beat the 45 ACP. If you ever compare them to a 10mm and 44 and the 10mm beat them out, but just barely a notch. I mean, that's not much, but it's definitely more powerful. There's definitely more power in the 44 and the 10mm, though. It's definitely got a lot more kick, a lot more power. But the 357 is nothing to scoff at. It is a powerhouse, and it basically does a lot of damage. So what would I choose personally, and why would I choose it? Like I said, this is the reason why I choose it. All right, think about that. This is the reason why I choose it. Basically, this is what I would choose. This is the reason why I would choose it. I mean, think about that. Let's say that roughly this entire box right here, this is 800 rounds. Okay, let's say this box right here, and let's say that I were to be able to stick this roughly. I were to be able to stick, let's say, 6 maybe eight. Might be able to get about 800 rounds in this box. So let's say seven. So let's just knock it off for the extra powder room. Let's say 700 rounds. That's 700 rounds. 700 rounds, and put that in a pack. I got 700 rounds, man, of a lot more power than what you think. So basically, why do I choose that? Well, there's a reason why I choose it. It's just because it is light, easy to carry, got plenty of power, a lot more powerful than a lot of people think it is, and it really isn't a joke like a lot of people think it is. But like I said, I shouldn't even have to be making another video. It's ridiculous that I have to make another video even talking about it, because I mean, I get so many freaking comments on the thing, and I'm just trying to debunk some of those comments. So I mean, I'm trying to remember in my head too while I'm doing this of all the stuff people have said. I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh, they didn't buy it during the pandemic." But during the pandemic, they were too worried about buying stuff that was just home defense and security and stuff like that. And you know, so people say, "Well, you couldn't find the ammo during the pandemic." Yes, you could find the ammo during the pandemic, but it was just a little harder. It was a little more expensive, but it was there. And then they started putting out a lot more once people stopped panic buying ammo. So now you can buy ammo pretty readily. But it is kind of expensive. I mean, 50 rounds VIC compared to 50 rounds of 9mm, $20 a round, $20 a box. It's pretty high. And on top of that, you don't generally reload 22s. I mean, can it be done? Yeah, you can do it, but is it worth it? I doubt it. I mean, you're just better off just to buy it and send it on its way, man. I mean, really, because just what it takes to redo a 22, it's just a lot of work to really reload 22s. I mean, you got to take like a punch, a flat punch. You got to put it on a flat surface. You got to bang it back out. Compared to, let's say, knock the primer out, then put a new primer in. This is a lot of trouble, but the 22 Magnum, that's my choice. 22 Magnum, 1,000 rounds bullet, 1,000 rounds at $22 a box. You're looking at about $400, $20 a box. You're looking at about $400 probably to order you 1,000 rounds from someplace, ammunition depot, something like that, or you can order from Midway or Natchez or something like that. It's about $400. Maybe you can get them $350 for 1,000 rounds. Along with your gun, you're probably going to pay a decent gun. It's probably going to run you $300. And then on top of that, if you want your 357 Magnum, you know, you can do like GP100. You can also do a hunting application. Depending on what you want it, that's up to you. But like I said, personally, what would I choose? This is my choice. I'm going to stick with it. I don't care what people says. But as far as my home defense gun, personally, let's just say I got a lot of handguns around here. I've got a lot of guns around here. So, but basically my AK-47, and then pretty much for my personal defense type stuff is my AK-47, and then probably, I want to say, well, I got a 45 high point I love to death. But I'm probably going to say my Taurus G2C 40 Smith & Wesson. I probably would say, because that thing's got a lot of punch, man. That's powerful. That's a powerful gun. But, you know, I'm interested in looking at other aspects and other things like the 10mm. I talk about 10mm like it's been very popular here lately, and I've been very interested in it. I was just seeing a thing too where somebody was doing the comparison between the 10mm and the 357 SIG, and the ballistics and stuff was very interesting. But 10mm just overall makes better sense because the ammo is just going to be cheaper than the 357 SIG. It's just going to be a plus on top of that. You can't really reload 357 SIG, and if you're into reloading, which is something, you know, I love. So if you're basically into reloading, you know, 10mm is going to be definitely the way to go. But anyway, be good at it. I've rambled on too long now, and this is the last time I am going to cover this video about 22 Magnum. I mean, it is just, I mean, there's 3,500. I got 3,500 views, and I don't know how probably 100 comments on that video now. And yeah, this is the last time I am making a video about 22 Magnum on that part. I mean, like I said, it's for survival use. It's not for home defense. It's not talking about this or that. It's for survival use in the wilderness to bug out with. Okay, do you understand that? Okay, that's a lot of people like to get that mistaken that I'm talking about doing this at the home or something. It's for survival use, people. Okay, just for surviving. Put it in the backpack and put the bullets in the backpack. Throw it on your shoulder and roll with it out. That's what it's for. Survival. Okay, so understand the difference between survival and home defense. I mean, home defense, get your freaking AR-15, but for survival, hitting the woods, going into the woods and surviving and having to hunt animals, becoming Jeremiah freaking Johnson. Okay, I like the 22 Mag, but you know, everybody's got their own opinion. Anyway, you be good at it, and take it easy.